Okay, we'll get underway. Thank you very much for all of you coming to today's press conference announcing our new head wrestling coach. Just a quick schedule of events. We're going to introduce Director of Athletic Don Oberhelman, and he will introduce our new wrestling coach. Both of them will have brief comments, and then we will open it up to questions from the media. When we do get to the questions from the media, we ask you to introduce yourselves so that our new wrestling coach knows who you are, and then we'll go from there. Try to limit yourself to about 3 or 4 questions in the first round, and then if we have more questions after that, we can go to a second round of questions. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Don Oberhelman, Director of Athletics at Cal Poly.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being here on such short notice. It's a great day to be a Mustang. I'm delighted to introduce Brendan Buckley as the next head wrestling coach at Cal Poly. Brendan comes to us after a very successful tenure at Columbia University. He was there for 11 years. Coach Buckley comes highly regarded to us from his peers as a great teacher of the sport. He brings a very cerebral approach to the sport, which means he's also a student of the sport. And as we know, all great coaches are not only students but teachers. They must be both. And Coach Buckley certainly is both. He was an All-American as a competitor and brings with him an Ivy League master's degree as well. I'd like to thank the search committee, many of whom couldn't be here, but to address them individually, Walter Harris from our admissions department, Ken Walker, who's a faculty member in philosophy, Ken Smith, member of the Stampede Club, Lennis Cowell, who's a former head wrestling coach, and of course Phil Webb, our senior associate AD, chaired the search. Very grateful for their service to Cal Poly. The search was a lengthy process. I appreciate the patience of our student athletes from the wrestling team as we went through this. It was a stressful time for them, but as I assured them in an email that I sent to them the other day, we certainly have the right man for Cal Poly. I'd like to thank Coach John Azevedo, who's here, for his 10 years of service to the wrestling program. A finer gentleman than John Azevedo you will not meet. He's been a great ambassador for the sport of wrestling in California and for this university as a whole. So I want to thank John for his service. And is Vaughn Hitchcock here? Coach Hitchcock, I want to thank you for coming as well. Another former head coach for Cal Poly. Delighted that you came today to help welcome Coach Buckley. And then, of course, Lennis Cowell, who served on the search committee, who could not be here. These 3 men are why this program is where it is. These three men are the reason why this job was so marketable to somebody like Coach Buckley. It's because of their efforts that the foundation is in place to continue to grow Cal Poly wrestling. We welcome Brendan's wife Julia to the Mustang family. I'm excited to bring her on board. She unfortunately couldn't be here, but she'll be in San Luis Obispo soon enough, I hope. I think the hiring of Coach Buckley shows our commitment to wrestling at Cal Poly. As I said earlier, it's a great day for California wrestling. It's a great day for wrestling at Cal Poly. The fact that we conducted a national search, I think, shows that wrestling is on very stable ground at Cal Poly, and we hope to be successful in wrestling for a very, very, very long time to come. Coach Buckley has all the tools required to be successful. He knows wrestling in California through his time at UC Davis and Fresno State, so this is just coming home for Coach Buckley after an extended time in New York. He knows what it takes academically to be successful at a place like Cal Poly, both from an admissions standpoint. When he goes recruiting, he's going to know the type of young man that can get admitted to a difficult institution like Cal Poly. But the interesting thing about Cal Poly is it's not only hard to get in, it's hard to stay in. So he's going to also recognize the type of individual that it's going to take to compete academically as well as on the mat. He can help us grow our endowments, which is what is going to be required here to continue to grow the wrestling program. We have to grow the endowments, and he has a track record of doing that at Columbia. He's a great mentor, and he's a leader of young men. I can't wait for him to get started. He will honor our goals of graduating citizens and winning championships. It's a great day for Cal Poly, and I'm excited to introduce Brendan Buckley as the wrestling coach at Cal Poly.
I'd first like to thank Don Oberhillman. Mr. Oberhillman has been very supportive in my communication with him and aggressively promoting the wrestling program, and by being proactive and wanting to bring me out here to Cal Poly, a place I have just always really been fascinated with. I'm just really happy to be here today speaking with all of you. I'd also like to thank President Armstrong and Provost Koob, both of whom I had the good fortune to meet over the last couple weeks. And I would also like to thank the search committee. I know that's a pretty lengthy and involved and difficult process, so the fact that they had their faith in me brings me a lot of joy to be able to and be here today. And lastly, I want to thank the coaches. I'm following a strong legacy. And I had always heard, being in California, about the legacy of Coach Hitchcock. I knew Coach Cal personally and have gotten to know Coach Azevedo over the last several weeks, and consider myself very fortunate to be in their company. I'd also be remiss if I didn't thank my administration at Columbia University, who were very supportive of me my 11 years there, and really helped put me into a position to be able to be the head coach at Cal Poly. As I said, I'm really excited, and I would say that I'm simply excited to be here at Cal Poly, and on the Central Coast, that would be quite an understatement. It's surreal for me to return to California, a place I spent over 3 years, and just look back with a lot of pride being in California, meeting some of my best friends and teammates and colleagues, and to be back in the state of California, reconnect with a lot of my contacts who are now high school coaches, and to be able to really reconnect with all the great people and just with college wrestling in the state of California is something I'm really excited about. A few things. I really feel Cal Poly is a great fit for me. I've been fortunate in my past experience to be at great universities, and to be able to continue that, to be at a place that's so nationally recognized for education as Cal Poly, it was always a goal of mine. When I look at places I wanted to be, it didn't just look at the beauty of the Central Coast or being in a certain specific location. I wanted to be at a good school. I think good schools produce excellent wrestlers. Wrestling is a cerebral sport, and I look forward to being able to get to work with students who are of a high academic background, and just being able to lead them to their goals. So as the head coach, I've always believed, as Mr. Oberhillman said, students, the best coaches are not only teachers but also students of the sport, and I'm not only looking forward to teaching Cal Poly's wrestlers, but I'm also looking forward to learning from them. And I'm just really believe philosophically that coaches, we have to keep learning, and I'm looking forward to doing that here at Cal Poly. My philosophy is pretty simple as far as what I want us to do, and we're going to work tirelessly to produce wrestlers and teams that will be successful within the Pac-10 and at the national level. In addition to success on the mat, I'm fully committed to our student athletes achieving success in the classroom. And beyond that, we want to produce positive members and contributors to society. And that's going to be our mission. I know that's the mission of the university. We will learn by doing, and it's going to be part of the wrestling philosophy. On the recruiting front, it's paramount that we build a fence around the state of California. Everyone in this country who follows wrestling knows that California has some of the best wrestlers in the country. By being able to build upon the rich tradition of Cal Poly wrestling and focusing on the state of California, I know that success, I'm going to work at building upon the previous success and trying to do my best to keep California's best at home. In addition, on the recruiting front, by promoting a prestigious Cal Poly education and the opportunity to compete for a national title, I believe our program will build the Cal Poly brand and make Cal Poly's alumni and friends very proud. Specifically speaking about my wrestling philosophy, it's one that will be composed of an offensive and an attacking style. It goes without saying that we will be incredibly well conditioned, but we will also spend a lot of time teaching wrestling. And I think it's incredibly important. Wrestling is known as a sport where everyone is in great shape. We're going to go very hard, but I think teaching needs to still be instrumental in coaching the sport of wrestling. Instead of one style for everyone, what I'd like to do and what my philosophy has always been is taking a wrestler's strengths and building upon them. As far as his weaknesses, we'll address and we'll fix them. And we will also teach success in all three positions. We don't want to be a team that's simply good on the mat or good on our feet, but we're going to be good on our feet, we're going to be good on top, and we're going to be able to score from the bottom. I once again want to thank everybody for this wonderful opportunity for me and my wife Julia. We're really excited to be here. I came out here just as soon as I could, and I'm just really excited about the future of Cal Poly Wrestling, and I'm ready to get to work right away.